What's going on, YouTube? My name is FG3000. I'm back in the place to be. And finally, the MMO Hopper has come to Wildstar. Let us get it on. So this is the MMO Hopper where I take an extended look at MMOs a little bit further than the newbie zone. In this instance, I am a level 39 spell slinger. Let's get it on. So I like to start off with combat, and I just got a kill quest, so let's get it on. So first off, I'll kind of go through my rotation. Okay, all right, well, that's fine. So I'm gonna snare this guy with my 1, hit him with my 2, which is the damage over time. Have an ability here called Arcane Missiles, which is the debuff. This is a basic damage buff. This is me getting out of dodge, hitting with a stun. Hold on, let me just kill these things, and we'll explain all these abilities here in a second. Because these guys are really trying to ruin my intro here. Yeah, come on, buddy. Come on, who do you think I am? Alright, so let me kind of show you what I was doing there. So, this game is all about telegraphs on the ground. Your friends telegraph, you telegraph, your enemies telegraph. It's all about telegraphs. So, let's start it off kind of based off of my typical rotation if I'm fighting a foe, right? I typically start off with my 1, which is a snare. I then go on to my 2, which is a damage over time ability called Ignite. I have a ability called Arcane Missiles, which is, you know, not exactly Arcane Missiles from a D&D World of Warcraft perspective, but it gets the job done. Next, after that, I have an ability called Wild Barrage, which is just typically just a straight damage ability. But all these abilities that you see so far, I can do on the move, so they're super, super helpful. If someone is going to cast, or if I need to stun someone for any reason, I can hit this ability called Gate, and it's also a blink as well. And my only ability that I have to use while rooted is this ability called Rapid Fire, but I can move, and then I can start the rest of it as well. So it's actually a pretty cool ability. It has 4 phases, and like I said, you can do things in between those phases and come back to it. So it's actually pretty cool. And last but not least, I have an ability called Flame Burst, which I can use after I do a crit. My build is all about crits on this character, so I pretty much crit all the time. As you see, I have a crit already ready to go. So I can kind of group all these guys up, go through my typical rotation, and they never had a prayer. See ya. And that is Spell Slinger. So, there's another aspect to this character called Spell Surge. Now, every single class has kind of a special ability. In this case, it's called Spell Surge. And I can activate it and deactivate it all I want. Look how good I look. Now, Spell Surge, what this does is just adds an additional ability to the abilities that I just told you about. So if I do Spell Surge and I hit my number 1, which is my snare, it makes the snare stronger. This makes my damage over time stronger. This, you know, typically debuffs don't really have a lot of damage. If I Spell Surge it, it increases the damage of my debuff. My Wild Barrage, which is typically just a damage ability, if I Spell Surge it, it ignores 50% of my target's armor. Doesn't do anything for my my Interrupt Gate ability. My typical, I hate to call it an auto attack, but that's kind of the best way to describe it. This is just your bread and butter regular damage ability, but I can also Spell Surge it to make it do even more damage. And then last but not least, Rapid Fire. Since this is my most powerful ability, if I Spell Surge it, it just becomes even more powerful, super meaty, and it actually feels really, really good when you can get all 4 of it on an enemy. So that's Spell Surge. Now this currency kind of runs out really quickly, so you really kind of want to be smart about it. You really want to kind of turn it on and turn it off as you need it. So right now, I don't need Spell Surge. So what I'll probably do is kind of group these guys up. Spell Surge. There you go. Now they're walking all slow, doing some RP walking towards me. And as you can see, my Spell Surge kind of runs out really, really quickly. So you can't just do it for an entire rotation. There's some abilities you want to use it, some abilities you don't really want to. Typically, I kind of always Spell Surge my my snare, just because I'm pretty squishy. Let's kind of group up a little bit more of these guys. And this is the great thing about the telegraph system. Okay, we're going to go ahead and stun them all there. Arcane Missiles them all there. You guys are trying to kill me, huh? You guys are trying to kill me. No such luck, because once again, I've completely out-leveled this zone because I can't leave a zone without finishing all the quests. And this game will absolutely drive you insane. If you're a completionist, do yourself a favor, either play this game or stay away from this game. because it will drive you absolutely crazy. There's so many quests in this game. There's so many challenges. There's so many, like, you're just kind of walking around and you see like a piece of armor on the ground and you click on it and it starts a quest. I mean, it's all kinds of quests in this game. And then there's, of course, map completion. There's so many things to complete in this game. So, once again, if you are a completionist, either play this game or stay away from this game, depending on how much time you have in your hands. Not a fun experience, for me at least. It literally drives me crazy. Alright, so that is combat in a nutshell. This is a spell slinger, like I said before. No class in this game is just a single-purpose class. They all have either a tank spec or a healing spec. No matter what class in this game you do have a needed role in a dungeon that you can always switch to. So there's no excuse. If you're tired of the DPS queue, you can always switch to your required class, basically. And I'll kind of show you that really quick. Now, I'm just solo questing. This is just regular PvE. So I'm using all of the things out of my assault tree. This is my DPS tree. Now, if I was going to go into a dungeon, and I wanted to go heals, I would use a bunch of abilities out of my support tree. Now you can take up to 8 abilities out in combat with you. So I can kind of mix and match a little bit of assault, a little bit of support, and I can become a healer. Or if I wanted to jump into PvP, I would use kind of a mix between assault, support, and utility. Or maybe I would use a bunch of utility and be like a flag runner or something. I mean, any way you want to make your character, you kind of, you do have a lot of freedom with that. So your spell slinger won't be exactly like another person's spell slinger, and you can actually go a step further. And let's say, now you have a limited amount of points you can add into these trees. So let's say that your favorite ability is going to be this arcane missiles, which mine is. So you can put a bunch of points inside arcane missiles. So this is 1 point, this is 2 points, this is 3 points, this is 4 points. And then it becomes really expensive and it costs you 5 points, 5 of these tier points, to do this ability the next level, if that makes sense. So right now I have 2 ability points. I can't upgrade this. I can't do it. I can upgrade this. Oh, crap. Nuts. All right, but I can't upgrade this because I don't have 5 ability points. So if you have an ability that you really, really like, or in a secondary effect that you really want to take advantage of, you can do one of these big upgrades, which costs a lot. And there's another big upgrade here towards the end. So in this case, I like to use arcane missiles. So all these base abilities right here, all it did was just increase my damage. But when I hit this one, when I hit this, it restores 5 spell power. Spell power is the currency that I use for spell surge. So if all that makes sense, it should. You can kind of really tailor make your character. No other spell slinger, for the most part, is not. You're not going to have the same character as someone else. So you really can be really kind of creative and kind of create your own builds based off of your own play style. And as far as I can tell, even in dungeons and PvP, there's no real complete right way to do something because there's certain abilities that I just don't like using. So maybe there is a superior way to play as far as like DPS maximization and all that good stuff. But what fun is that if you're not having fun with your abilities? And I really like using arcane missiles, and I really like using arcane barrage there, and I really like this ability for my my interrupt. Oh god, you have 80,000 HP. Let me out of here. Let me out. I'm not fighting you. Every now and then, there are mobs that look pretty much just like the normal mobs. Obviously, this guy looks a little bigger, but when you're just kind of doing quests, you will mistake those really powerful mobs for these basic ones right over here. See, these are the basic ones that I can just kill, no problem. But you'll accidentally pull some of those really, really powerful mobs, and you won't even realize it until it's like, oh, why aren't you dead yet? Oh, because you have 1,000,000 HP. Alright, so this is a theme park MMO through and through. Now, one of the cool things about this theme park MMO, on top of, that it does better than other theme park MMOs, is that you rarely have to go back to the quest hub to turn in quests. So right now, I got a little cell phone call right here. As you can see, she's like, what up? I can turn that quest in that I just did. I can pick up my reward, which is an upgrade. Thanks, buddy. Which is an upgrade, and I'll show you a couple of different systems here. So that's the cool thing about this game. It's not really a slogfest where you have to constantly go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Once you leave the quest hub, you're typically out in the world for the rest of the zone. Like you were just out exploring, picking up quests as you go along. Either they'll call you on your cell phone, or you'll just see them in the environment. Like I said, you'll like click on something and it'll start a quest, or you'll just walk inside of an area. Like let's say you walk into a cave, an NPC might call you on his cell phone and say, hey, while you're in that cave, do this. So it really keeps the game moving. Another feature that they have in this game is the salvage system, which is super helpful for that same thing I was just talking about. Since you're always out in the world, you don't really go back to the quest hub, so you can salvage right there and get rid of your old items right there in the fly, and that'll give you materials for crafting, which I'll probably cover towards the end of the video. All right, so let's go on to this. Oh, there you go. Got a little cell phone call right here. This guy's asking me to pick up some artifacts here, which is right here. Yeah, thanks, buddy. All right. All right. So like I said, I didn't have this quest a second ago, but now as I was walking through this little area, they want me to kill these hot chicks here. So, you know, I'll have to do what I got to do, man. I'm sorry. Let's go ahead and interrupt you guys there. If it's a red telegraph, it's obviously damage. If it's purple, that means the enemy is trying to buff its friends or its teammates. As you can see, they got an HP buff there. And the telegraphs are very, very unique in Wildstar. I didn't know. How much HP is that? 18,000. The telegraphs are really, really unique. So, of course, there's telegraphs like this, which are what you kind of expect. She'll probably do some cooler ones here in a second. Or she'll throw me up in the air like she just don't care. See, look at these. So, you can't just, like, roll, because you might land into another one like that. So they're not super, you know, generic all the time. They can get really, really crazy. So kudos to that as far as the design team of trying to make the game always feel like you have to keep moving. You can't be asleep at the wheel. Like, look at this one. Like, what the heck is that? You can't be asleep at the wheel when it comes to Wildstar. And especially if you have multiple, if you like pull like I like to pull, you'll have your screen covered with red. But I'm just, like I said, I'm kind of overpowered for this level, or this zone right now, because I'm a stupid completionist and I have to do this quest. So that is the gist of the combat. I kind of explained the questing system. Like I said, it is theme park, but it's done the best you can do theme park, in my opinion. This is kind of the cream of the crop when it comes to theme park MMOs. So even if you are burnt out of theme park, give this one a try. Imagine theme park MMOs with a lot of quality of life improvements, and that's what Wildstar really brings to the table when it comes to theme park elements. Now, the graphics. You've probably already made up your mind about if you like the graphics or not. It is cartoony. It is stylized. Of course, all the developers these days that are making MMOs, the people that are making MOBAs, the people that are making those character-based shooters like Overwatch and Paladins, they're all going for this kind of stylized art style because it lasts longer. And Wildstar is absolutely no exception. This is probably, though, the best-looking free-to-play MMO on the market right now. You could probably argue Terra in that, but this is the best-looking, most polished, most fluid, most responsive. I mean, it used to be a AAA game, and I say used to because they obviously did. Oh, look at this! Look at this! Look at these jerk scumbags. I say used to be because they tried to do the subscription route. It didn't work out, but that doesn't stop the fact that they built this game from the ground up to be worth somebody's $15 a month, right? They wanted to get people's money every single month, so they made the game as AAA-esque as they possibly could, and it definitely shows. Yep. There you go. I turned that quest in, and I'll just kind of, like I said, you'll kind of just float around. So I'm just going to kind of explore this area and see if another quest just pops up on my radar here. So what are my overall thoughts on the Wildstar? So, I don't know if maybe I just sped ahead of everybody, but it's still it's a very lonely game. In the newbie areas, there is a ton of people playing, but like I said, I am level 39 right now. The game has been out for, I would say, what, about 10 days now or so? Pretty close to that. There's really no one around me. I'm playing on the PvP server, the main one, not the secondary one. Look at this guy. What up? He's level 33. But I won't ruin your day, buddy. I won't ruin your day and kill you on video. You lucked out, buddy. But there's really not a lot of people playing towards the high level. And I don't know if people are getting burnt out because I don't want to put words in their mouth since I don't know them. But I'll tell you, for my own personal opinion, I kind of got burnt out already. And it's just because there's so much to do. And like I said, this is probably really subjective, but it just seems like you go to a zone, you go to a new zone, and there's just so much going on. And that's a good thing and a bad thing, right? You go to a quest hub and there's like 11 NPCs with all their exclamation points on top of their head. And then you kind of go out in the world and you have to do your secondary missions, your primary missions. You got to do so many things out here. It can kind of feel like a slog a little bit. Like you're just kind of just treading through a bunch of quests. And the combat system kind of makes it a little bit worse, in a sense that the combat system is fantastic, but when you do it for a few hours, it gets really, really like tiresome in a way. And I know that sounds really, really like like MMO gamers have been asking for more combat focused games for like the longest, and they finally get one, but I can't play it for long periods of time. Like I eventually get tired, and I've seen some other people on the forums kind of talk about raiding and wiping. Like, you know, those nights where you're raiding and you're constantly wiping for hours and hours and hours again. They say that fatigue like sets in so quick for them as opposed to other games, and I can kind of see that. You really kind of get tired of like dodging all the time and double tapping this and spam keying this, and it kind of gets really, really tiresome here. But that can easily be alleviated by logging the heck out and playing something else. You don't gotta play all day, FG. That's your fault. I get it. I get it. Oh, look at these. Look at this. Look at that. I told you, these telegraphs get pretty crazy. Okay, let me get out of that. Especially when you pull multiple ones like I just did there. It makes it so there's not really any safe zones for the most part. I've just picked up a... Oh, you have my quest over here. What's up, lady? I gotta get over there. Spell Surge. Hey, buddy, you want to help me over here? I saw you freaking rogues or stalkers. Don't even want to help your fellow teammates, just like a rogue. Is this like a... This chick had a ton of HP. Oh, she's level 38. Oh, okay. There's still some people in this zone that are close to my level, so... Did not know that. That's pretty good to know. And you are done for. Now let's go over there. What's up, buddy? I just want this quest. Everyone relax. Cool thing about PvP in this game, so let's say me and this guy were in this little area trying to get quest credit. We can still fight the same mobs. And, you know, if we're cool with each other, we can kind of arrange our telegraphs so they don't hit, like, you know, 91,000 HP. Oh, my God. So you can kind of move your telegraph so it doesn't hit them. And you guys can share quest credit even if you're enemies. It's beautiful. Or you can just kill each other. You know, whatever. No big deal. But I do very much like grounding up all the mobs and just mowing them all down. It definitely has kind of a Diablo feel to it when it comes to that, where you just kind of just group up as many mobs as you possibly can and just mow them all down. So that's still very cool. Not taking anything away from the combat, it is good. And like I said, it can probably be alleviated by just not playing as much as I did. And so take that with a grain of salt. Is someone like... I thought somebody wanted some. Hey, none of that. Beautiful. And if you interrupt a mob while it's casting, its HP bar will turn purple, and that'll allow you to do even more damage. So that's a really good time to hit your spell surge and then do as much damage as you possibly can. All right. I want to just finish off this quest here, and then we'll kind of get into kind of like my final thoughts in the game. And I'll go back to town and kind of show you a cool crafting mechanic that I hope that other games kind of steal from it. See you later. Alright, what's next? Got 58%. And as you can see, it's kind of Guild Wars 2-esque, where you just kind of stay in an area. It doesn't really tell you have to kill 10 of them or anything like that. You basically keep killing them and the percentage goes up. Now, if I fought that super high level one with a ton of HP, if I fought her, I would actually get more towards that completion score than if I just fight the regular slappies here. So there is a reason to fight those big strong ones, but I'm not going to fight one unless someone's around. for the most part. And see, she interrupted me while I was doing rapid fire, but I can just pick it right back up where I left off for a limited amount of time. So that's pretty cool. And you see that one right there jumped me up from 58 to 75%. So that is pretty cool. And this is kind of what I mean when it comes to there's a lot to do. Like, oh, I hate these type of telegraphs that kind of follow you for a couple seconds, and then you have to dodge it kind of like the last minute or the last second. If you dodge the last minute, you're screwed. Look at this freaking guy over there just watching me. You know, you could have jumped in and helped me out. Look at this. Look how big this thing is. And that's the end of you. Another, oh, this is actually awesome. Let me show you this. So when you're in a guild, you can kind of dictate where your guild logo is on your character. Hold on, this will make more sense in a second. So I can go into titles, and then let's say I want to make this little logo a little closer, or actually, hold on, I just screwed that all up. Let's say I want my guild logo all over the place. I can do that. Or let's say I just want it on my back. I can do that. Let's say I want it to go a little bit farther away. I can do that. Or you can be like FG and be super cool and just have it on one shoulder like that. What up? I really, really like the way they do guild tags in this game. That's actually pretty awesome. And it can only be done in a game with a futuristic setting like this. I mean, maybe you could, but it makes sense in this game here to have like a little holographic guild tag. So I really, really dig that. A little small touch like that is awesome. AoE loot in this game is great, so when you kill something, you just press V, it sucks up all the loot in the area. There's a lot of really cool features in this game when it comes to just a very streamlined experience. And that 91,000 HP woman there is going to live. I am not killing you. So let's just wait for her to cast. Wait for you to cast. Spell Surge, rapid fire her down. Yeah, look, she's lost a ton of HP there. And that's the kind of way you really want to do it to kind of maximize your DPS for the most part. But yeah, this is kind of my problem with the game a little bit. I hate to say this because what do I want from a game? Oh, this game isn't actiony enough. Oh, this game is a little too actiony. But, I mean, your fingers get really, really tired doing this all the time. And you can't get hit by these telegraphs. Like, you honestly can't. I'll get myself hit. Like, if I just stood here and just took it to the face, I would, she's not going to do a telegraph now. But look at this damage. If I just look at this, I'm almost dead. So you have to constantly dodge. You can't sit in the red. I might actually die. Or somebody from the opposing faction might come and kill me just because they see how weak I am. Alright, so that quest is done. What else is here? So this is number 2. Once again, another cool quality of life feature. I just press this and tells me, alright, go over here. Turn in my quest. I have to turn it in here. Typically, you don't have to go back to the quest mob, but I guess this was a quest statue. So that kind of changes things just a little bit. Alright. Let's go back to this area here. We'll kind of round up my final thoughts on Wildstar. So, am I going to continue playing Wildstar? I am not. But, this is kind of a weird thing here. I really, 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 really recommend this game for other people. Like, I'm sure that this game is going to find a really big audience. Look at this. There's things in the world where you can just find randomly, and this gives me a little HP buff. And it kind of circles around my character, which is pretty cool. But this game isn't really for me. The combat, it gets a little tiresome after a long period of time. And you know what? On weekends, I sit in front of the computer for way too long just playing these games. And it's kind of my fault. And like I said, I've said that multiple times in the video. You might, if you only play for a couple hours a day, you might absolutely love this combat system and you'll never have a problem with it. So do keep that in mind. Another reason why I probably won't be playing this game is just because I'm not a big fan of futuristic settings. I know we've had old school like swords and sorcery and dragon settings for so many MMOs, but I like that setting. Like I'm not tired of it at all. I could do that crap forever. Like that is my favorite setting is old school armor and weapons and things like that. So I'm not a real big person on like you know pistols and rifles and all that good stuff. It's really not me. It's not what really gets my immersion going. So when I'm playing this game, I'm not really I'm not excited to fight these slug thingies, right? I want to fight a giant. I want to fight goblins. I want to fight orcs. And I know I've been doing that for years and years and years, but I mean, it's what I like. It's absolutely what I like. But this game is super unique. They have a lot of different mobs and different models for all the creatures here. So if you're looking for something that is out of the realm of the... Look at that. That's cool. I'm not saying this game is bad, but the theme itself just doesn't fit what I'm looking for in an MMO. All right, I got to kill one more of these slugs. Now, to talk about the performance of this game, when you first start it, all of the newbie zones, they're going to trick you. In the newbie zones, I was like flying high. My frames per second were off the charts. But as you get into these later zones, like this one right here, this is a wild run chase. After I kill this guy, let's take a look at the area. Alright, complete this quest. But look at how much like foliage is in this game, how much details in this game. This is an incredible looking game. I'm on max settings right now, and I'm running at 52 frames per second in between there on this level. There are certain zones where it just goes crazy through the roof. This zone, like I said, is it's very, very cluttered in a good way, but it takes your frames per second quite a bit in a zone like this. Excuse me. Also in town, you're looking at like 20 frames per second still. It used to be like that when I used to play back in like beta and shortly after launch. But still, to this day, when you go into town, your frames per second will absolutely tank. So be expecting that. Here's a node here. Go ahead and suck all this good stuff up. Now there is something over here at number 4. Now, when you select your class, you can pick like a secondary, I don't want to call it a class, but you can pick like a secondary profession. And I picked soldier, which means when I am just doing my basic questing, there will be things on the map that look like these little red icons here. So for this, for example, this is a soldier mission where I have to assassinate some sword maidens over here. Okay, so that's the same quest. That's the same quest, just in 4 different areas. This is shield testing, where they'll probably give me an item to use, and I'll probably have to get hit on purpose to test a shield, or something along those lines. You never really know until you go and click on it. But there looks like there's something over here, number 4. I got to inspect this eyeball over here. So there's double jumping in the game once again. People love some double jumping. Where am I going? Oh, I just had to come to the top. What are these things? I'll leave you guys alone. So what do you need me to do up here, buddy boy? All right. Where are you? You coming down? Alright, where do I go? And this is the entire map here. Oh boy. We'll start that over. It's not a seamless world. Everything is kind of segmented off. You'll travel by ship to every single zone. So this is the actual zone here. These are the only places you can go to. So, you know, it's not an open world, but it still feels pretty open. The zones are massive. There's absolutely no zoning or any type of load times in this area here. So you'll only load in zone if you go into an instance or if you go into another overworld zone. And for whatever reason, there's fall damage on my freaking hoverboard. And I don't get it. I don't get it. So you can't just be like, whee! Well, you can, but... you can't do it from too high, which I've learned. All right, what's over here? Number 4, just scouting. So I guess I just walk around. That's fine. It gives me a chance to show off the rest of the game's graphics here. And actually, we're gonna go back to town because I've kind of explained what I need to as far as the combat and as far as the overall flow of questing and whatnot. So let's go back home. I haven't seen anybody really. I just saw that one guy.
A slight miscalculation almost resulted in nothing. Everything's fine.
Like I said, there's not really a lot of people playing in this area, and it could be just because I out-leveled everybody, and that's definitely a possibility. But I tell you for sure that the newbie zones are super, super crowded. The chat is going absolutely crazy. So if you're looking for an MMO to start off on and get that that launch day feeling of an MMO, this is where you want to go right now. And if you play World of Warcraft and you don't want to keep that subscription going anymore, you got to come play Wildstar, because this is going to be the game for you if you're okay with a futuristic setting. Okay. Anyway, hold on. Did I already take this quest? I think I did. That sucks. So the really neat thing about this game is that, once again, it streamlines everything, right? This is, like I said before, theme park MMO through and through, but it has a lot of little small touches that just make your life a lot easier. Now, there are tons and tons of games that have crafting dailies, right? But you usually have to go back to the main town to do your crafting dailies, talk to certain NPCs, etc., etc., etc. So let's say I'm in this zone. I am in this zone, FG. I know. So let's say I'm in this zone, right? Let's say I spent about 3 days just completing this zone. So every day I log on, I can go to this work order board, which gives me my crafting dailies right here in this zone, appropriate for my level, right? So every single overland zone has a work order board that I can work on my crafting dailies on. And right here is a place that I can go right here and craft. So, for example, this board will tell me to make, all right, GG to hard drive space. I was just talking, didn't even realize my hard drive was full. So back to what I was saying. You grab all your, you grab your quests from this work order board, right? It'll tell you to craft 5 of something, right? And you can go right here. Actually, I don't want to do that. You can go right here to your crafting station, and it'll tell you, okay, make 5 of these swords right here. The really cool thing is, it'll only tell you to make items and weapons based off of materials that you can find in this zone. So, for example, there will be titanium chunks in this zone, there'll be crystals and sapphires in this zone that it assigns you the crafting dailies. And then, of course, there's this trade skill good vendor that'll give you all the things that you need that are kind of just the vendor purchasable items that you need to create crafts. So it's really, really awesome feature. So while you're out questing, you're picking up nodes, you come back, you know, let's say you're about to log off in about 15, 20 minutes, and you've been out in the zone, you've been questing and picking up all your nodes, you gate back to the zone, you grab your work order thingies, you craft up your 5 or 6 weapons, you log off for the day, you wake up, you craft a couple more with your new dailies. It's a really, really neat way to keep you engaged in the world, to keep crafters moving forward and not have them stuck in town and staring at some trade skill alley in the back of the main town. I really, really like it. Crafting in this game is done the way I really prefer it to be done, and that is, you are able to keep your crafting in sync with your level. So if you want to just get to level 20, stop for a little while, craft until you get level 20 items, those items are going to be better than your quest rewards, and it's actually feasible to keep it up. So once you get to level 25, you can stop, do some more crafting. Level 30, stop, do some more crafting, and you'll always have some of the best gear that you can get outside of dungeons. So I love games that allow you to actually craft as you go. I know a lot of power levelers just kind of disregard crafting and craft at the end, but there's a lot of fun to be had to kind of craft your own gear and weapons and armor as you play. So very cool. Last but not least, there is a very cool feature in this game for wardrobe. Remember a long time ago, and this is going to be kind of off topic here, but I remember a long time ago, people that played World of Warcraft were asking Blizzard, hey, can we have a wardrobe system where we can kind of put armor on top of armor to kind of change the looks of it, blah, blah, blah. And Blizzard was like, no, you can't have that. If you pick up some armor, you need to wear that armor. You can't be changing styles around. And look at us now. Almost every single MMO has a feature like this. And Wildstar actually does it really, really well. So do I have no examples. I have no examples I can give you. Well, I kind of do. So this sword I just crafted. So let's say I really like the design of this sword, right? I really, really like how it looks. I don't, but let's say I did. I can take this item, put it on this right here, and it'll unlock forever. Boop. It's unlocked. So now I can just throw it away. Who cares? Boop, boop, boop. So now, where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Oh, because I'm not the right class. Dang it. Bad example. But it's unlocked forever. Trust me. So let's say I make a level 1 warrior right now. Make a level 1 warrior. This same wardrobe is account based. So once I go to my level 1 warrior, I can take that same sword that I just put in my wardrobe, and I can use that look for it for my level 1 right off the bat. So that's actually really, really cool. I love the fact that they made it account wide. So every time you start an alt, you can kind of make him look the way you want him to look, or her, you know, no discrimination. You can also kind of hide any piece of gear you want. So let's say you want to be kind of a hippie, you can do that. If you want to take your pants off, but this is a family rated show, so we're going to put those back on. Let's say you don't want to wear any gloves, you can do that. If you want to just go out in your bra, you can do that. If you hate shoulders, you can do that. If you hate your helmet, you can do that. It's very, very good system. I really do like it. And for right now, it's free. Hold on. One of my costume pieces is invalid. What a way to show off the freaking... Oh, because I don't think I've actually put that in my costume. You know what? Freaking A. Freaking A. Alright. That's fine. That's fine. Just ruin my video. Ruin my video. So anyway, that is a look at the wardrobe system. It's actually really, really easy to use. Disregard that little error that I had right there. I'm not sure what was going on there. But that is a wardrobe system. So I can take any pieces of gear, put them on any of my characters, account wide. Very, very cool feature. So that is it. That is Wildstar. Definitely go out and play this game. Like I said, it's free to play. You have nothing to lose. I would recommend playing on a PvE server. The PvP servers are pretty dead. At least at my level, I haven't really been seeing anyone. Maybe they're just hiding really well, you know? Right now, there's 3 people around me. But that's pretty much it. I would definitely recommend just roll on a PvE server. If you want to do some PvP, just sign up for a battleground or something. That's where the majority of the people are. And I know this video is not helping more people come to the PvP server, but it is what it is. Anyway, my name is FG3000. That has been a look at Wildstar. This definitely gets my recommendation here. You won't see me playing the game, unfortunately, due to the things that I mentioned in this video, but wholeheartedly recommend playing this game. Definitely give it a look. I'll see you next video. Next MMO Hopper will probably be Warframe. It's about time to jump into that game. Devilian and... maybe DC Universe Online is probably another game I need to check out. So that's that. Once again, don't forget to share, like, and subscribe, and we will see you next video. Later.